want y'all to put the word out. The Cavs back up, baby. The Cavs are back up, baby. The Cavs are back up. They're 8-6 right now. We know that they got to a slow start. They've had injuries all year. No Karis LeVert today, or at least he didn't play for whatever reason. No Donovan Mitchell. No Isaac Okoro. You've been missing key guys in the rotation. There was a period where Darius was out. There was a period where Jarrett was out. We know why the record has not been super great this year, but I believe it's similar to what the record was last year around this time, given that the Cavs got off to a quote-unquote hot start. They're back up, y'all, and they look good, and they ain't even at full strength yet. Let's go through the box score today. A couple standouts here that I have in the box score. Dean Wade thought he had a really nice night. Oh, not Dean Wade. My bad. Evan Mobley thought Evan Mobley had a really nice night. 10 and 12 with 18 and 12 today. All 12 of those rebounds were defensive, but still thought he put in some good work. 6 of 6 from the free throw line, including 2 clutch free throws at the end of the game, and also a clutch block at the end of the game. I think he made some plays down the stretch. I thought there was room for him to make more plays, and I think we have to find peace with certain players or certain style of players. And look, Evan Mobley has the potential to do so much that if he doesn't do every single thing that he has the potential to do, people get frustrated and tend to focus on that. But we need to focus on what Evan Mobley is. And right now he's 18 and 12 and a great defensive player. That's very good. You could do much worse in the NBA than that. And I think he'll develop into some of these things. Like, I thought that there was one thing I could critique of him in the end of this game. There was a moment where he had Tobias Harris on him at the end of this game. He crossed him and got space on Tobias to get to the bucket. But instead of going up and just seeing what happened, right, whether you get fouled or whether you just missed the layup, instead of going up, being aggressive, going towards the basket, he tried to like pass out awkwardly in the middle of his dribble drive. I just would love to see Evan Mobley, one, get bigger, like literally more big, so he can feel more confident to be physical. Or if he's not going to get bigger, he's just got to get that confidence to be physical, right? And I don't think that those two things are mutually exclusive. I don't think that you're being big makes you confident in your physical ability to finish. And I don't think that being small makes it impossible for you to be confident in your ability to finish through contact. So if there's one thing with Evan that I would love to see him really try to work on during the course of this year is being confident, working through contact, being strong, because that's the one thing I think offensively, at least, that's holding his game back to being a plus player on the offensive end instead of an occasional plus player. Jarrett Allen flat balled today. There's no way around it. 26 and 13, and let me tell you, some of them 26 was clutch. I think it was a couple of them in overtime, a couple of them in the end of the fourth quarter. He did a really good job. 12 of 20 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 6 offensive rebounds to go along with his 7 defensive rebounds. Hey, that's balling, bro. That's balling. Dean Wade did good rebounding the ball. Didn't really do much else, but he did have 3 steals, so I thought he played well defensively. Yeah, I mean, like, Dean Wade, he is what he is. He can disappear offensively, but he's not like going to hurt the team, I guess. It's just kind of annoying seeing somebody who disappears so often offensively be on the floor so much. But you got to find somebody his size that can defend, so I understand why he's out there. 0 for 4 from three-point, 0 for 4 from the floor. He was not good offensively, but I thought he played a good game at other parts of the floor. And then Darius Garland, he's him. He's one of those guys. He's one of the best players in the NBA. Well, not one of the best players, but he's one of the best point guards in the NBA. 32 points today. 3 steals. It's crazy. 3 steals, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Is all over the stat sheet, all over crunch time, all over the fourth quarter of this game. Darius Garland continues to show you why he is 1A or 1A, 1B to Donovan Mitchell, right? It's not 1 and 2, it's 1A, 1B, and he ain't looking like the B right now. You know what I mean? He look like the 1A right now. Shout out to Darius Garland, really played well. Max Strus looks like one of the most important signings that we've had in a while. 20 points today. He did have a couple turnovers, but 2 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 5 of 10 from 3-point. It can't be spoken on how valuable these last 2 games, those 2 free agent signings have been. Max Strus and George Niang. Thought that George Niang came in there, played some solid minutes, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, 7 rebounds, gave you some good physical bench minutes. And Tristan Thompson, look, I think he only scored 2 points and got like 3 rebounds. He had 2 assists in this game too, and a steal and a block. But I thought he played some really nice minutes here for 15 minutes. He got in crunch time against Embiid, played well, got 2 stops on Embiid in those situations to make sure that the game stayed tied in order to get into overtime. Yeah, I thought Tristan Thompson, like he's not the Tristan Thompson of old, right? He's not 26 rebound, 12 points Tristan Thompson. Those days are over. But what he is a nice veteran voice, a nice, experienced guy on the bench who could come in and be physical. One of the things I talked about being a failure for this Cavs team against teams like Philly and against teams like New York that I thought people were kind of wrongly putting on JB Bickerstaff was I don't think that JB didn't want to make adjustments versus those bigger players, right? Embiid, you talk about Mitchell, all these guys that gave him problem throughout the year because they were just bigger, more physical than you. It wasn't that JB didn't want to make adjustments. It's that JB had nobody to go to make that adjustment with because there was no physical backup center that he had. Now you have that physical backup center, that defensive backup center, the guy who can kind of get in there with an Embiid, get in there with Jokic. We've seen it 2 games back to back where in these situations where you got to have a stop on one of those 2 key players, Tristan Thompson's been the guy that they've called on to handle those responsibilities. And you best believe if you play Mitchell Robinson again in the playoffs this year, Tristan going to see some minutes, right? Because that's what Tristan's here to do. And I think that was a real key signing by this Cavs team. Another key signing by this Cavs team, Craig Porter Jr. We talked about him in the episode before. We're going to continue to talk about Craig Porter Jr. This shit is real. This shit is real, y'all, with Craig Porter Jr. 3rd game in a row where we've been sitting here like, damn, man, who's this dude from Wichita State? He did it again in crunch time against a really good team 2 days in a row, right? Now, he didn't get 26 like he did the other day, but he had 12 points in 27 minutes, 3 rebounds, 9 assists. 9 assists. He was just spreading around. Had a block. Had a plus 21 plus or minus. Didn't make any threes. Didn't take any threes for 5 and 9 from the field. Real aggressive in crunch time, man. I like this dude's game. He needs to be in the rotation. Now, I don't know who needs to go. Probably Ty Jerome that's not going to be playing anymore, man. Shout out to Ty. But that's probably a wrap on Ty's playing time, and it might be a little bit on Caris LeVert's playing time too. But yeah, Craig Porter Jr., shake my hand right here. Welcome to the Cavs. Welcome to the NBA. Welcome to the rotation. You are in it. And the thing that makes me confident about Craig Porter is like the stuff that he's doing isn't because he's hot. Like sometimes you get like a Linsanity thing where somebody's just making an incredible amount of threes. Like we seen this with Jetty Osman all the time. And we know that that's not real. Like if somebody's just on a hot shooting streak, but it's not the fact that he's like out here just shooting the ball from deep, making a ton of threes. He just getting buckets, man. Like, and getting buckets. Once you show that you could get buckets, you keep getting them usually, right? And he can get buckets. And he's a nice backup point guard option, can facilitate the basketball. As we saw here, 9 assists, can score it. As we saw the day before with 26 points. I like him. I like him a lot. Plays like a veteran. He's a rookie, though, but he's been in college forever. So Shout out to Craig Porter Jr. today. Thought he did real well. Cavs did a good job on Embiid, got him into foul trouble. He actually fouled out, I believe, in overtime of this game. So did a good job on him, kind of frustrating him. Thought they did a real good job. Well, why did they play Nicholas Batum so much? That's a weird one from the 76ers. Gave him 27 minutes. Somebody's got to be hurt. But yeah, I think the Cavs, like the only thing with the Cavs that I'll be a little bit concerned about is it doesn't feel like the defense is at the same level that it was at last year. And I am concerned that that defense is just not coming back this year. Maybe it's just not on the same vibe. Maybe it's not having Donovan Mitchell, but for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like we're as in tune with each other defensively as we have been in the past. Like there was that Pat Bev basket at the end of this game. I'm like, man, that team last year would never let that happen. But for whatever reason, we've been a little bit more leaky on the defensive end here. We got better luck against 3-point shooting, so I think that's kind of made up the difference, but not the same level of defensive play that we're used to from this Cavs team. But all in all, it's nice to see him get back on track. Donovan Mitchell comes back soon. Hopefully, you're back to full strength. But Craig Porter Jr., regardless of who comes back, needs to find a way in the rotation because that man's good. I think what we found out over the last few weeks is that Craig Porter belongs in this rotation. Obviously, George Niang has always been in the rotation, but Tristan Thompson also has a place in this rotation as well. Those two need to find a way to get acclimated into that rotation. Whatever you have to do, whoever you kick out, I don't know. But we know that those are the two that you need to prioritize once this team gets healthy because they need minutes. And shout out to the Cavs development staff for continuing to find these guys that are very useful for us at like the edges of the draft or at undrafted. Feel like they've done a really good job in that area. Also, I might be a minority in this, but shout out to the NBA in-season tournament, man. This shit's more fun than I thought it would be. And I was somebody who came into it kind of more optimistic than I saw the energy online with it, where people were like, why are you doing this? It doesn't make sense. I was like, it's fun. It's good content, right? That's why they're doing it. And I think it's been fun. I thought that everybody really played at a higher gear. And it was nice that the referees kind of treated this game like a playoff game. So they let a lot of physicality, all that shit go. And I think in the long run, something like the in-season tournament can be a good thing for young teams, especially right now. For the older teams, I don't see the in-season tournament ever really meaning anything to a team that's like older in their championship window. But for teams in that pre-window, right? Because we talked about this, where there was that period of time where like Embiid was on the Sixers and they were almost ready to be good and Embiid was already good, but it's like they had to wait for certain pieces to get there. So they're in their pre-window. The Cavs are a team that are in their pre-window. You can see like the Spurs are a team in their pre-window. The Oklahoma City Thunder, their team in their pre-window. And I think that the in-season tournament is going to be real helpful and real good for teams like that, because that gives them some playoff experience. It gives them some tournament experience. It gives them some, like, these games have a little extra oomph to them. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like they have a little bit of extra butter in it, if you know what I mean. Like, it just seems like they let it get a little bit more physical. They let it feel more like a playoff game. And I think that's going to be really good for some of these teams in their pre-window to gain some experience and just learn what it feels like to play for something, even if it's just for a large amount of money. Just get that feeling back of like, okay, this is what it means when the game means something more than just a win-loss record. It means more than that, right? So I think that this in-season tournament to me has been fun. It's been a success. I've enjoyed it as a consumer. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.